Hello. As introduced earlier, I'm Kiran, and I head the Masters in Luxury Brand Management. Just to give you an overview on what luxury brand management is about. Luxury is a very unique world, also because it's based on not a need, but a want. The way people consume luxury is very unique. And in today's age, as the consumer changes, as it becomes younger, luxury brands need to evolve and understand the growing consumer's need and adapt themselves to be able to communicate, market, and create stronger connections with these consumers. And this is basically what we approach in the master's program. The master's is structured in 4 modules. As discussed earlier, we have 2 core workshops. The 2 core workshops that belong to luxury brand management are digital luxury communication, and the second one is strategic brand management. And I'm going to explain these 2 in more detail to you, after which you have the possibility of doing a free workshop. The options include entrepreneurship. They include also fashion buying, amongst others. At the end of it, there's a final project. This is the only thing that is done on an individual basis. Everything else is a group project. The groups are constructed in a multidisciplinary, multicultural way throughout the workshop. So it basically means there is the possibility of peer-to-peer learning as well as frontal from your mentors and teachers. These are some of the companies that we have collaborated with in the past. Everything from Stone Island Moncler, which is, fashion in a sense, Trussardi, to jewelry, which is Bulgari, Pomelato. We have also worked with art, Fondazione Prada, Christie's, and hospitality, Park Hyatt, and more recently, Bulgari Hotels. Some of our alumni, Lina Marcella Mosquera, who is a creative brand strategist with Branding Letters, and Cedric Van Hoek, who is the founder of Resortex. So, as I said, some of the project examples. The first co-workshop that we deal with is digital communication workshop within the luxury brand management program, where we try and create communication strategies across digital platforms to stay true to the brand DNA and values in the correct tone of voice, but reaching out to a new consumer or to the existing consumer in a stronger, more meaningful way. This workshop was in collaboration with Bulgari Jewels, which is based out of Rome, and the students were basically asked to come out with social media strategy and editorial plans to describe Bulgari's unique heritage and excellence in a more contemporary way. The concept that the students came out with was dualism, and the core of the root of this concept was because Bulgari has a collection called Serpenti, and serpents are dualistic in their nature. They wanted to communicate the dualism in the nature of serpents through the dualism also that exists within the mind of the consumer and in the brand values. So this is the definition, which is the Oxford definition, and their own definition, which is basically 2 opposed or contrasted aspects which coexist harmoniously in one person or matter. This is the mood board, where they tried to visually depict the dualism that they wanted to communicate, which is one which is vibrant, colorful, and young, whereas the other one that is slightly more classical and constrained. The idea was to collaborate with 2 designers that were quite different, to come out with photo shoots in total with 6 looks and communicate that on Instagram and advertisements, which is offline as well, and to create a visual language which was more contemporary with Serpenti products. The 2 designers that they decided to collaborate with were Kirby Jean Raymond and Mingyeon-sin Lee, with the 2 brands that you can see. One is American, one is Korean, 2 very different identities, as you can see. So this is what Paya Moss looks like visually, and this is what Low Classic looks like. So you can see that they're 2 very different consumers. These were some of the images that they decided that they wanted to have or create for the Instagram campaign to reflect, again, the same concept of dualism. It goes forward within the Instagram social media campaign and also offline channels. And it was important for them to show that the dualism concept is not just connected to the product, but also to the consumer, to show how it transfers also into brand elements. The next step was to collaborate with 4 photographers who would express their concepts of dualism through imagery, have a photo contest which would be open to the public, create user-generated content, and elect 50 winners or contestants that basically were the top, basis the number of likes on Instagram. These were some of the examples of the 4 photographers that they would have picked. And this is how it translates onto the online, that is the website, as well as the Instagram. So this is basically the entire plan, right from the conceptualization to the photo shoots, to the manifestation on Instagram and billboards, to the GIFs that they would like to create, the photographers, and finally the user-generated content. A full calendar of the social media strategy that they had in mind. And this is what the social media would look like. Now, the second core workshop that we have in luxury brand management is strategic brand management workshop, where brands basically create strategic solutions that could be either connected to branding or communications or marketing, but also consumer CRM, basically, which is what we did with Montclair, because they asked us to create a white glove service approach and build and maintain consistent unified voice, regardless of the distribution channel. So really create one voice and use technology that aids them to reach out to the consumer and fulfill the consumer's need in a more seamless fashion. The goal was to use technology to provide a value-added service, and this group in particular decided to concentrate on the APAC market, which is the Asia-Pacific market. Given their area of concentration, they decided to do a market analysis, and they came out with specific insights. For instance, 75% of all APAC consumers prefer self-directed client service, or the fact that 2/3 of APAC luxury consumers are from China. So they came out with specific insights. Basis which they defined 2 consumer profiles. One was the millennial consumer, and the second one was an affluent Chinese shopper. And they came out with specific touch points that were more meaningful to either of them. For instance, the millennial consumer, as you can see over here, 70% of the purchases were online, whereas for the APAC consumer, 63% prefer in-store purchases. So trying to really construct these 2 profiles in terms of their modality of consumerism. The approach in the end was then defined, defining the fact that both the consumer profiles focus on research stage. Self-service options are preferred, and they have a very strong need for product information. And the concept was Global Genius, which was the launch of a platform which is more interactive and can help consumers get more relevant information in a much more streamlined way. Search, which connects it to related articles that give them additional information that they could need. Drop-down menus that basically connect to the search, and the ability to see whether or not a product is available in certain specific store locations as well as online. So even if you do your research online, you can actually go into the store and find the product. In the end, how to build a platform, which is with intuitive drop-down search, dynamic content, related articles, product availability widgets, consumer profiles in multiple languages. And this is an entire recap of the CRM support strategy that they had. In the end, how would they communicate this platform, which is Global Genius, and through social media, through an ambassador, and through marketing strategies. So that, in short, was the project.